Okay, so for my week 12 Doohickeys individual assignment, I wanted to focus on the discipline aspect of the company. After reading the our case study, I really felt that discipline was something that this company really needed to work on in certain areas to improve, and I can go over that with you moving forward with this slideshow. Um, so to start, let me see if I can get it here. It's going to be my table of contents of what I'm going to cover. I'm going to talk about what discipline is, the types of it, the case study solutions, pros and cons to one of the issues that I really feel strong about, firing termination process, and conclusion final thoughts. And then concluded with my works cited page. All right, first, what is employee discipline? Discipline is the regulation and modulation of human activities to produce a controlled performance. With discipline, an employee can learns that promotes self-control, dedication, orderly conduct. It can establish and maintain a reasonable but firm discipline line, which is good for any company, in my opinion. And it really varies with employee discipline on how you pursue it, because if you go too high, workers are usually, they'll get insulted, and if they get insulted and get their feelings hurt, the productivity is going to drop. Then also, if you do it too low, people are going to take advantage of you, take their liberties, and then also the productivity drops. So you want to find that fine line of good discipline that can make the best productivity available. So with that being said, here's our types of employee discipline that we commonly see in the workplace, that you can use. You can use verbal warnings, written warnings, suspension, performance improvement plans, or also known as PIPs, or termination, which we all kind of learned about in our following um, group assignment this a few weeks ago. So some of my solutions that I came up with for this case would be to implement a discipline policy. I feel like that'd be the biggest thing, because there were so many different areas that the organization struggled in. I feel like having a fine disciplinary policy will help stabilize the company. It can it can show the standard that you want to have in your company. It can help build your team, and I'll be able to go over that shortly in my next couple of slides. Also, I feel like we need better leadership in the company. There was a situation where I can't remember the name, but the manager was wanting to just fire somebody due to looks, and you can't have that as a leadership in a company. Document. Documentation is key to anything. Um, there was a situation in there where they didn't have any documentation regarding preparation to terminate or fire anybody. With documentation, it can cover yourself, it can cover employees. They're legal documents you can use. I think it's important to document anything in the business. Any kind of business related activities needs to be documented so that you have a history of it, not for just the bad things, but for the good things as well. And lastly, HR investigations. When matters really hit hard, a lot of this times there can be like a bunch of he said, she said concepts where I could see happening in this case study. I feel like if you have an HR team that can deep dive into those topics and have those investigations to really get down to the nitty gritty and learn what's going on inside the work area, they can provide better decision makings that go along with the policy that they implement. So moving forward with our disciplinary policy that we want to institute, here's some pros and cons that I think would be good for the company. Pros, we can provide a clear explanation of consequences to the employees if they break the rules or go out of standard. It helps us be more consistent and fair. It will limit the opportunity to show favoritism. That's if we do it correctly, if we don't bend the rules for anybody, of course, and that would be one of our cons. Another pro would be an opportunity for employee behavioral changes, because if you give somebody CPRs, or was what we know them as, corrective performance reviews or anything like that, and they not realizing they're doing something, you come to them with the steps. It can help them see what they're doing, work on those things, and then if that doesn't help, then that's something that will lead down the road where you can have a deeper conversation You can enhance employee morale by just becoming more engaged with the employee. You can have feedback discussions of why they're missing things or why they're not doing this, and you kind of get a better understanding from both sides. And then it also provides evidence that employers gave the employee every opportunity to improve. So that goes back to the documentation aspect, that you have the documentation you need to pursue anything that uh, may later come up. Cons, some fear that such policy implies that the steps must be followed before any termination, whereas you would have to go every single step of the policy that you implement before you can just terminate somebody. Um, HR managers may have to make judgment calls when to deviate from the progressive steps depending on the severity of the accusation or severity of the issue. And then if not followed consistently, as I mentioned, it could appear to be discriminatory, which we would not want in the company. Uh, if we had to get to the price of firing and terminating somebody, which is hard to do, but it also is important that we realize what we're doing there, because there is a price that pays. The biggest concern employee turnover presents is its financial cost from recruiting and training new employees to replace the ones that you've lost already. So with the exact cost of turnover varies, there's no question it's something that we as employers need to manage, leadership needs to manage. The average cost of losing an employee can cost thousands of dollars. Some of those factors of the cost that would equal up to that amount would be recruitment costs for new team members, onboarding cost, lost productivity, training cost, and cultural impact. Those are some key factors that will help raise the prices to bringing in somebody new for the person that was either fired or terminated. So it is a ongoing cycle of money being spent. So, in my opinion, with my final thoughts, if you have somebody that is um, really trying to do the best they can do, but they're just not getting it, and you're doing your correct protocols with your new policy, your implications of that, and you don't have to necessarily just fire them outright. You can try to see if there can be a move or see if there can be an improvement plan, to help that team member grow. Now there are situations where also in the story where there was sexual harassment, which I think is a zero tolerance. That should be a zero tolerance policy where if that happens, then it's out of there. That's something that does not need to be in a company affecting other people. So in those situations, yes, you have to bite those bullets and pay that cost. But for someone who is trying their best and doing what they need to do, then you can work with them. You can work with them. I feel as an HR employee or as a manager, you're able to see those situations better to where you know how to exactly manage them. But having a standard policy in place can help you with those decisions. Also, having the proper documentation can help you with those as well, because you can see exactly what's going on with the issue. And I think that's something that Doohickeys really needs more of, to be more to help with the turnover rates, to help with consistency in the company. I feel like they would grow heavily through those small changes. Yes, there's some cost factors with training and bringing in new people, but it'll be worth it if they can have the same policy to where it's fair to everybody and help them grow individually. And this is some sites that I've seen that helped me with this presentation. I hope it is what was needed. I'm thankful for the opportunity I've had to be able to share my learnings with you, and I hope that it's what you really wanted. If there's something else that you want to hear from me about, please reach out and I can help you with those answers. But thank you for taking the time to listen to my presentation about discipline in the workplace, and I hope that these actions would help the company, because I felt like they would. Thank you.